Insurance crisis could spark a housing market crash worse than 2008. That's what this report says in Newsweek. There's some serious issues going on with insurance in a lot of states in the United States due to natural disasters, fires, wildfires, hurricanes. This article goes in depth about what's going on the financial side and why insurance companies are backing away. Now, look, I get it. It's a for-profit company. And if they're losing money in a certain area, why would they invest in it? If you have a company, if you have 5 companies and one of them's doing bad, you would kill it off. If you have retail stores and you're a big, huge box retailer and it makes more sense to go just online, you would kill off all the stores. I get that. Insurance is a requirement for lending. It's mandated by law that you have to have insurance if you're carrying a loan on that home that you're trying to buy. Or if you're a homeowner, insurance companies are a problem when a natural disaster happens, and it happens over and over again in a certain area. Insurance companies are backing away. Now, I think this becomes a national problem, not just a state problem. And I would say if Trump is cutting the fat of the government, he should also take a look at the Department of Insurance. There's probably a federal Department of Insurance because we have a National Association of Realtors. We have a Department of Education. We got to have a Department of Insurance and have him have this Doge thing stick. I don't care if you like it or not. It's not really the point. Since we're changing a lot of things, let's change the way we insure houses. Let's change the way the U.S. uses the real estate market, the real estate industry as part of their GDP, which is an important part. Even though it's like 3%, it's a huge part of our GDP. And if it crashes, it could lead into other things. Like right now, automotive industry is hurting pretty bad. They're having a hard time selling new cars. More people are electing to buy used cars because they're just out of step with affordability. I agree. We have to look at affordability for housing as well. But part of that is insurance. Now, if you live in a high fire zone, we have Cal Fire, and they have this little map that shows you if it's in a high fire or moderate fire zone. If it's in that zone, you have to go to Fair Plan, which means your insurance goes up incredibly high, like 3 or 4 times higher, depending on your house. It's crazy expensive. And most states have a fair plan, something like a fair plan. In California, or the general carriers won't do it. It won't insure your house. You can't get a loan unless you get fair plan, which makes it less affordable. So I think there needs to be an investigation on what's going on and put some common sense tactics into the insurance industry for this, because I have a deal hanging on another buyer trying to sell their house, but their house is in a fire zone and they're finding it hard to find insurance. They have to go to Fair Plan. So it really is hurting everybody on the bottom level. And ultimately it hurts the sellers because they're just waiting to sell their house. It's a pain in the butt. Now, if you're in a suburban area, you're not in the hills, you're not in the fire zone, it's pretty much normal. But if you're in a high fire zone, and there's a lot of places in California that are in a fire zone. I'll break this open for you. Everything in yellow, orange, and red are fire zones. Like right here, this is what we saw go up in flames in the last couple of weeks. It's the Palisades, etc. area. And here in our valley, along the hills, are all orange and red fire zone. Los Gatos, Saratoga, Montecito, even parts of Cupertino are in high fire zones, which makes it more expensive for people to buy. If you can afford a $5 million house, you can afford Fire Plan. But if you're in Watsonville selling the same style house, which is large, gorgeous, beautiful, everything, but they're in a fire zone, that means your insurance, it's going to cost about $1 million versus $5 million. It'll be less expensive, but people will go there and say, I'm not going to pay for Fair Plan. That's ridiculous. So it puts a hold on it for my listing over here. We do have a listing up here in San Jose. I have 69 views on the disclosure, so I'm not worried about that one. It's crazy how crazy it is. But like my hill that I hike on here, that's in a yellow zone. It's not good. That's moderate, but still puts pressure on the insurance company. And the insurance company's only way to protect themselves is to do Fair Plan or not allow it. And if you're in that place and in that area that's a high fire zone and your insurance company kicks you out, what are you to do? You have to go to Fair Plan. That's not so fair. I think federally we have to take a look at this, because if nothing's done, it could spur a market crash. If you're thinking about selling your home, get your honey-do list. We actually do something called an NHD, natural hazard disclosure. So it'll tell you if you're in a fire zone. And every insurance company has their own fire map. So don't look at that as gospel. Just take a look at it and make sure you know what you're doing. Download that inspection checklist. Mira Vista Road, Cupertino House of the Week. Not my listing. $3.5 million, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,300 square feet. Single story. It's nice. My house is 2,300 square feet. Built in 1968. And it's only worth like $1.5 million, 1.8. So crazy, right? This Blackberry farm right here, Monte Vista and De Anza. So that's where it is. You go down into the ravine and up the hill, and then you can get into this house right here. Let's take a look at it. Wow. Original everything. Look at that kitchen. Screaming original Monte Vista Park. Nice. Nice that they actually did a floor plan. Looks like they converted the garage into a bedroom. So originally it was a 2-bedroom. Now they're calling it a 3-bedroom. It's just a carport. All right. Zero garage. $3.6 million. $3.5 million and no garage. Willow Glen House of the Week, not my listing. Merle Ave, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,765 square feet, built in 1936. And it is walking distance to Lincoln Ave. Real nice. Let me break this open so you can see it a little bit bigger. Spanish Revival Cottage. Semi-updated. This is older. I want to say these cabinets are about 20 years old. That's the style. Nice that they put in the little insets there. You got your wine bar, a nice little courtyard with an open-up garage. It's not a garage. It might have been a garage at one time, but that's an entertaining center and an outdoor barbecue entertainment. This is nice, guys. This is really nice. There's your 3 bedrooms, your living room, porch, dining room. Where's the entry? Oh, that's your entryway right there. Then you go into the dining breakfast nook. I have a question. What are your thoughts on having a formal dining room? If you have a 1,700 to 2,000 square foot house, do you need to have a formal dining room? Because hardly anybody ever buys or uses their dining room anymore. Think about it. Broadway, not my listing, only $32 million. And the reason why I chose this is because it's in San Francisco. It's 4 bedrooms, 6 and 4.5 baths, 10,000 square feet, built in 1987. Look at that view. That is gorgeous. This is a beautiful house. Look at this. There's a movie with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Of this house. Oh, I got to show my client this house. It's nice. And then 12 Bay Area sales report. Nothing super crazy to report other than Santa Clara County reached over $1 billion in 6 weeks in sales. Our demand here in the Silicon Valley is huge, and it shows it right there. Look at San Mateo. It's half of where it is, even though their houses are more expensive on average. The volume in Santa Clara County is crazy high. But also I want to point out Contra Costa County is jumping up. 621 homes in contract already year to date, and they're 18% over list price, $0.3 million versus $2.3 million. But Contra Costa is a place to go, right? I always pointed out Napa because it was very costly, and you can buy a house 5% off on discount. Still is. It's pretty much been that for the last couple of years. Napa is more like a second home place. There's not a lot of industry there outside of the vineyards. Monterey is doing really well. They only had 18 sales this week. Monterey County, look at that, $1.4 million. No change in list price to sales price ratio. So far, there's only 258, a quarter of what Santa Clara County has. But that's also different because Monterey is more like a destination place. It's a resort, a second home, vacation type place. There's no major industry other than tourism. There's golf.